discussing hard-hitting issues of the day. The Naked PolitiXXX Podcast with Jeff, Emil, and Jan Argy.
Are trans women women? Welcome to another episode of the Naked PolitiXXX Podcast. I am Jan Argy, podcasting from Los Angeles, with Jeff podcasting from Dublin and Emil podcasting from Manila. In tonight's podcast, we will try to re-answer the question in the final rounds that gave Miss India, Sushmita Sen, the Miss Universe crown a quarter of a century ago. The question, what is the essence of being a woman? And in answering that question, we will try to satisfy the curiosity, the doubt, the confusion of many if trans women like Geraldine Román, Gina Rosero, or Caitlyn Jenner are actually women. J.K. Rowling, author of the Harry Potter series, has publicly resisted the idea that trans women are women. On Twitter, she has defended a woman who was fired for transphobia. She has seemed to scoff at men in dresses. Recently, she opened a new front in the war, mocking an article that spoke of people who menstruate. In her view, to deny that sex makes someone female is to deny women's lived realities. In tonight's podcast, we will ask uncomfortable questions. Questions that may sound disrespectful to your faith or to your realities, but we think are necessary so that we may ferret out the truth. In order that we may not offend each other, assume that our queries are ignorant and uneducated. We will accept it because we are willing to listen, we are willing to learn, and we are willing to understand. We are joined tonight by Yan Yan, who disagrees with J.K. Rowling, and Gie, who agrees with J.K. Rowling. Hi, everyone. Okay, let me start with some questions to Gie. Gie, I have some questions. Are you a woman?
Yes, I am.
How did you know that you are a woman?
Well, physically, number one, I'm born with womb and with the physical attributes of a woman. So I don't really need to prove my worth as a woman or my existence as a woman kasi babae talaga ako.
When did you know that you are a woman?
During birth. I was born with of course, yung
But
organ ng babae.
But don't you think it might just be a phase that at some point in your life you would decide to become a man?
No.
So what was your parents' reaction when you told them that you are a man, that you are a woman?
My parents, I actually grew up in yung hindi conventional na family setup. So I don't get to talk about these things with my parents.
Do you have to tell them that you are actually a straight woman, a cisgender woman?
Yes, yes.
So you have to? You have to tell them
I'm sorry. I have to.
Do you have to tell them that you are a cisgender, that you are a woman?
No, I don't.
No, okay. And did you decide on being a woman? Was it your decision?
No.
Okay, thank you, G. Yan Yan. So, these questions sounds familiar, di ba? Ito yung mga tinatanong sa'yo kung babae ka ba, kung kailan mo nalaman na babae ka. And these questions aren't usually asked to regular women. So, what was your initial thought when you heard me asking these questions to G?
I would definitely, I can say that it is sort of offensive. I can say that if you're someone that I don't know, if you're someone that I am not related to, and you are just a stranger and you're going to ask me such questions, it would be really offensive.
Okay. But yun nga, these are the realities of transgender women that it's actually being asked. Even by people you actually know, your friends and acquaintances. that. Thank you for that. But we cannot walk on someone's shoes that we don't know, di ba? Hindi naman namin alam yung mga experiences nyo. But growing up, was it hard? No, siguro yung unang question ko is, are you fully transitioned, or do you want to fully transition, or you're just taking hormones? Sorry for my ignorance, but what's the status of your transition?
Well, currently I'm on HRT. I'm on hormone replacement therapy. So basically, nagpipills ako ngayon. I'm taking estrogen and anti-androgen, and I haven't undergone sex realignment surgery, or the bottom surgery that you have mentioned, but I have undergone breast augmentation already. So yeah, that's
so
my...
siguro people would ask, and may mga terminology tayo halimbawa na hindi familiar sa lahat. Did you experience gender dysphoria? Because this is something that tayo mga Pinoy hindi pamilyar eh. Kasi pag nakakita tayo ng mga binabae, they're actually being tolerated in a sense sa atin. I don't know what your experience is, but did you experience that?
Yes,
when you were
I definitely,
or at some point?
Yes, I definitely experienced dysphoria, and it was worse when I was younger. Mas mahirap siya nung bata ako. When I haven't taken hormones yet, nung nag-uumpisa pa lang ako, napakahirap. It's like looking at the mirror, looking yourself in the mirror, and then you're disgusted sa sarili mo that this is not the body na gusto mo. But then as I transitioned and started taking hormones, I have overcome dysphoria eventually. But then there are still times that I get gender dysphoria.
Para lang malinaw sa atin, sa mga listeners natin, this is a disorder, di ba? Yung gender dysphoria. So what happens if you have that? Ano yung nararamdaman ng isang tao that is undergoing gender dysphoria?
Basically, gender dysphoria is a psychological or a term being used. It's a psychological. I cannot say that this is a disorder, but
I'm sorry.
It's a state of mind. It's like anxiety. No, that's fine. That's fine. It's a feeling of being in the wrong body. Your body is not matched with what you feel inside. So that's how this feels, and you feel like you want to get out of this body. You feel like you want to change yourself. Kailangan mo magbago, and kapag hindi mo magawa yun, then it's going to cause you anxiety and depression.
Okay. Emil, para lang malinaw sa mga listeners natin and then viewers natin, of course, we know there's two sex, di ba? Male and female. But gender is something different. And last time I checked, at least there are 64, or maybe as of now, it's still counting a number of gender. Dati parang mas madali, matagal tinanggap yung girl, boy, bakla, tomboy. And then tapos nagkaroon ng LGBTQIA, B, C, D, E, F, G. So people are confused. People are confused about gender. So can you at least tell us what's the difference between sexuality, gender, and is a transgender the same as a transsexual and a crossdresser? What, Emil?
All right. Sir, these are the basics of SOGI: sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression. Okay. So when we talk about sexuality, that is the biological aspect, diba? If you have a vagina, if you have a penis, then you are male or female. But when we talk about gender, specifically gender identity, that is your internal self, diba? So if sex is physical self, gender identity is your internal self. And gender expression is how you express that internal self. how you express your gender. Diba? So, in a nutshell, sex is biological, gender is a social construction. It's a cultural, it's a social construct. Now, let's go to the to the question of yes.
Wait a minute. Sinabi mo male and female, biological sex, but there are also people who were born with both sexes, hermaphrodites, hermaphrodites, right? So, how do you identify itong mga tao na ito, itong mga intersex? Are they male, are they female, or they decide eventually whether they are male or female?
At least I would like to look at it from the perspective of jurisprudence in the Philippines, diba? In the case of kagandahan, there's a person who is an intersex and who applied to change his sexuality because he was suffering to gender disorder. As since intersex siya, may dalawang siyang sexuality. Now, the Supreme Court in the Philippines allows that person, allows her to change, to eventually change her sexuality from male to female. So if you are an intersex,
only to intersex.
Yes. So if you are an intersex, the Supreme Court, the court allows you to choose eventually your permanent sexuality, your permanent sex. So that is only available to intersex, at least in the context of the Philippines, diba? But this is not applicable to the case of transsexual and transgender, diba? Because when we talk about transsexuals, these are the people who undergone a reconstructive surgery to change their physical sex, diba? And when we talk about transgender, these are the people who are not yet undergoing a surgery, but they have the desire to change their sexuality. So when we talk about transsexual, operated na, transgender, gusto pa lang magpa-operate.
Or they may not,
diba?
they may not too. Pwede
Or they may not too, yes, exactly.
Hanggang doon lang sa, for example, hormonal treatments, or
yes.
Di ba? Pero not necessarily. So depende. I'd like to go back to you. So in our conversation, malinaw yung position mo. Transgender women are not women.
No.
What are the basis of bakit? Ano yung basis ng paniniwala mo na ang mga transgender women ay hindi babae?
Number one, yung definition kasi ng trans woman is they are male transformed into female. So dun pa lang, they're not woman because they were just transformed. A woman should be naturally born. Although some, ito yung fear ko, sabi ko kanina kay Sir John, na ma-offend ko talaga yung other party, but my best friend is also gay. And he himself is not agreeing with yung statement na trans woman is a woman. So, basically, yung primary na gusto kong sabihin is scientifically, hindi naturalesa sa mga trans woman na sila ay babae. But they feel like they are. I totally respect that. However, hindi talaga siya, for me, hindi siya magiging patas in so many ways na sabihin na ang trans woman ay isang woman. So, ayun. Yun muna.
So G, pero you've heard about our discussion about intersex people, di ba? Those actually born, kung ang sinasabi mo, physically, it's about the physical aspect of a person. There are people who were born with both, and then they decide eventually. So don't you think this is also somehow the same with and I would like to add, G, if it's about physical, there are also some science studies na sinasabi that primarily the brain of the man is different from the brain of the woman.
Yes.
So itong mga transgender women, their brains are not the brain of a man. Their brains are more or less the same of that of a woman. So bakit ang basihan natin yung nasa baba, hindi yung nasa taas?
For me, kasi ayoko talagang gamitan ng mga biblical truths about it kasi as we all know, I know Emil is also a Christian. At hindi kasi, paano ko ba sisimulan? Sige na nga, agsasalita na ako. Kanina kasi sir, nagsabi si Gie and Yan, nagsabi siya na quite offending daw offending talaga yung mga sinasabi ko. And naiintindihan ko yun, kaya nga gusto kong umatras ng una kasi talagang nakaka-offend siya. And for me, if willing ang isang male na mag-undergo sa lahat ng pangyayaring ito sa pag-change ng lahat sa kanya, then primarily, yung offense dapat ma-overcome din nila. Kasi talagang dadaan sila dito eh. You will go through this one. So, going back, yung basis ko rin kasi dito, sir, we are created man and the woman, number one. So, eto na lang, naisip ko kasi na ano bang magiging basis kung sinong tama at mali dito sa conversation na to. So, ang isang building na ginagawa, meron tayong tinatawag, di ba, na plumbab, yung hulog, nasa hulog, yung hulog para masabi mong pantay. So, hindi yung architect or yung engineer or kung sino mang forma nang magsasabi doon na yun yung rule or law. Di ba? I mean, yun yung tama na yung sukat. But the law of gravity itself. So, pag lumayo tayo dun sa particular law, then we will face a definite, may mga pagkakamali, may mga error. So, kagaya ngayon, tinitwitch for this, natutwitch kasi yung meaning ng woman because of yung pagkakaroon ng trans woman. And then all of a sudden, magkakaroon ng mga ganitong pains and hurts and whatnot. So, dun pa lang, di ba, when you violate a law, when you violate that rule of being a woman and then you're transitioning from being a man to a woman, masakit. Kasi you're going against the gods, right? Unlike if you're naturally born with it, you don't have to force it. It's all natural. Yun lang.
Okay. Before I go to Yan Yan, I'd like to ask Jeff for a comment dun sa mga binitiwan ni Gie. Okay.
So, medyo natuwa ako dun sa analogy mo dun sa hulog, di ba? And you talk about gravity. Going by your definition, gravity is not absolute. No, iba yung gravity natin na sa surface ng Earth pag pumunta ka sa moon.
Wala naman tayo sa moon.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Because you're talking about science, di ba? Your analogy is about science and gravity. And gravity, something na you can't, na hindi lang, iba yung application niya. And gravity on the moon is also natural, but it's 10 times lighter than the gravity on Earth. Diba? So,
but still, there's a law. Yun yung gusto kong sabihin.
Yeah.
There must be a law in everything.
Patapusin natin si Jeff.
So doon sa analogy na yun, medyo tayo. Kasi nga, hindi yun yung absolute rule din ng gravity ng Earth. If you go somewhere, in space, so the gravity changes. Diba? But it's still natural law. Because you didn't do anything, diba? So, doon pa lang, medyo na yung analogy ng gravity.
Okay.
Okay, Sir Jan, sir, I have some questions to Gie muna before you proceed to
go ahead.
Yan.
Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, Gie.
Hello,
I have
Emil.
some questions because I understand where you are coming from, diba? Because you are a Christian. And I think we have to set things straight, diba? I mean, kasi hindi naman natin madidisavow yung pinanggagalingan natin, di ba? Especially if you are a Christian, that can impact you, di ba? The way you perceive things, di ba? So I would like to ask you first, as a Christian, do you believe that being a Christian and being an LGBTQ at the same time cannot be done? Or can I rephrase it? Can a Christian can a person be a Christian and an LGBTQ at the same time?
Maganda yung tanong mo. Kasi for me, it's not about religion. It's all about your personal relationship with Jesus Christ. So even if you're a pastor or a priest or whoever holy person you are, kapag meron kang violate na law, still, it will come back sa'yo. So for me, it doesn't really matter so long that you have a personal relationship with Jesus. Yun yung mahalaga. Yun yung mahalaga. But for me, yung definition kasi ng trans woman is a woman is really not, kahit hindi ako Kristiyano, I really wouldn't, go for it. Sorry.
Okay,
so I have another question on that muna, sir.
Yep.
Okay.
Since you are talking about natural law, di ba?
Yes.
And law from God, do you think did God commit a mistake when He allowed an intersex person to be born?
No, because we all have that free will. May free will tayong bawat isa and He respected that. Even yung binibigay ng Diyos sa atin na mga resolution or yung mga sinabi na niya sa salita niya, hindi niya naman pinupuwersa yan, di ba? So, it's all about our choice. Choice natin lahat.
If you are an intersex and you choose to undergo a reconstructive surgery and choose your permanent sexuality, do you find it natural or unnatural?
Unnatural. Kasi again, it's all about free will eh. May karapatan siyang gawin yun. But again, God has given us the law and the standards for everything that we do. Even I, di ba? Kung may mga nagagawa ako.
So dapat hindi gagalawin niyo yung katawan. Parang hayaan mo na lang na since pinanganak ka na may vagina at may penis, you stick with it, di ba? Because you are born that way. Well, that's according to Lady Gaga. Okay, sir, that's it. Those are my questions.
Okay, thank you, Emil. Yan. So you've heard the discussion, di ba? Well, Gie, parang pinuntuhan niya yung natural law daw, and then the biological aspect of the person. So the question is also to you. I mean, why do you consider yourself a woman?
Okay, I would be very honest. Religion is a different topic. Religion is one of the most sensitive topic, and I think that would definitely has a very big impact when it comes to conversation about gender, sexual orientation, and gender expression and identity. I think there's a disconnect when it comes to understanding what SOGI means, or sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression. I think when it comes to biological, like when it comes to physical self or physical physicalities of a person, I think you are referring to sex, like female and male. You were born with a vagina and with a penis. But then, scientifically speaking, as well, as transgender women, based on scientific studies, our DNA is basically different from from men. From people who identify themselves as men. So basically, we are different. We are women on our DNA, but then unfortunately we were born in the wrong body. So that's why we experience gender dysphoria, and that's when we think that we need to change. Because if we do not change, it's easy to say, for someone, it's easy to say that do not change yourself. It's easy to say that you have to stick with your own body. But if you ever experience dysphoria, or let's say, think of something like having an anxiety and that you cannot shake it off your mind. You cannot remove it from your mind. Hindi mo siya matanggal. Then that's when you have to do something to help yourself or to get out of it. So that's how it feels.
Gusto ko lang maintindihan yan yung sinabi mo. So you're saying, gaya nung kahit na you will not be able to experience lahat na experiences ng cisgender woman, like you won't be able to bear a child, at least not yet. I mean now, in the technology that we have now. Or magkaroon ng gatas para magpadede ng anak. That doesn't mean that you're not a woman. Yun ba ang sinasabi mo na parang kahit naman yung mga babae, may babaeng big-breasted, may payat, may mataba, may maitim, may maputi, but they're all considered women. Ganun ba yung tama ba yung analogy ko? Yan?
That's correct. Women comes in all forms.
Okay.
Go ahead. Thank you. For me, women comes in different forms. Maybe you identify yourself as a woman, but you were born as a male or with a penis. But then you identify yourself as a woman, then you're still a woman. And I believe that when you say you can bear a child, you have ovary, then I can say it's a bit of disrespect to women who cannot bear children. It's a disrespect to women who cannot bear a child who has diseases on their reproductive system. And when you say that the essence of being a woman is to bear a child, then that's definitely a disconnect in women in general. So that's my point when it comes to essence of being a woman or as a woman.
Okay. Emil, para malinaw lang to, no? Yung mga argument against gender construct na sinasabi yung male and female, and then gender is also a socially constructed idea. Pwede rin iba to dun sa mga advocate ng transgenderism, di ba? Baka naman this is also socially constructed na yung so ano bang tama? Ano ba yung tingin natin dito, Emil?
Okay. So how can we approach this, di ba? I would like to help Yan in this particular argument. Okay. Siguro ang pinaka-question natin dito is woman a sexuality or a gender? Di ba? Is woman a sex or a gender? Di ba? If is woman sexuality? Di ba? By the walang sexuality, meron lang male and female. Diba?
Mm-hmm.
So, ang sinasabi ni Yan is that you can be a female because you are assigned with a biological, with a vagina. So, hindi yun question, diba? You are female kasi may vagina ka. But let's go to the question of a woman, diba? Diba kapag sinabi nating sexuality, dalawa lang yan male, female, hindi mo naman ititik yung box na woman ka or man ka, di ba? So it is within that binary lang, within that construct lang. So ang answer dyan is that woman is not really sexuality because when we talk about sexuality, we should be talking about female, di ba? So woman in this sense is about gender, di ba? Ano-ano ba yung mga gender? Ito yung mga man. Are you a man? Are you a woman? Are you a boy? Diba? Are you a girl? Are you a bisexual? It is socially constructed in the sense that itong mga terms na to, hindi lang siya purely biological, but meron siyang socio-cultural impact. For instance, if you consider yourself as a girl or is a boy, ibig sabihin nun that perhaps you are not matured enough to become a man, di ba? If you are considered yourself naman as a man, perhaps you are already mature enough to become a man and perhaps to find your woman. And if you consider yourself as a woman, then you consider yourself not a girl anymore, di ba? Then meron din yung sinasabi nga ni Britney Spears, meron din sinasabi na you are not, perhaps I am not yet a girl and not yet a woman. So this is gender. Ito yung usapin ng gender, di ba? Yung question ng woman is essentially a question of gender, not sexuality. At maliwanag yun kasi ang sexuality, nahahati lang siya sa male and female.
So let's go to the topic of pronouns, identifying markers. I would assume yan, sabi mo, tinanong kita kanina, how should I address you? Sabi mo, she, her. Why is it important? Bakit kailangan ang identification sa'yo, ang pronoun na gamitin ay she or her? Can you let us know?
I believe that I should be addressed as her or she because that's basically how I identify myself. I know that I'm a woman. I think and feel that I am a woman, and I think I look woman enough to people, and that's why I think people need to learn who to address her or she or he or him. And it's not really bad to ask someone what pronoun they want to be addressed. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Binanggit mo yan. For example, somebody calls you a he or him.
Mhm.
So sabi mo, hindi dapat ganon. Pero isn't that an infringement of the right of that person to free speech? Hindi ba karapatan niya yun because that is his own words? It's his right to call anybody he perceives it to be. What do you say to them?
That's totally fine with me. Hindi ako ma-offend agad. But then I educate the person properly. I tell them properly that, okay, if someone called me kuya or someone called me sir, then I would say, please call me ma'am. I prefer that. Thank you. So I think it's basically on educating people. It's going.
Pero ang sinasabi nila, this is somehow a cultural imposition on something that is not yet accepted. But at some point, yung mga nagsasabi nito, sinasabi nila, this is freedom of thought. This is freedom of speech. So does that conflict? I mean, is there an actual harm na mangyayari sa'yo if people continue to address you in the gender that you do not identify with?
You could tell if somebody's doing it on purpose. And you could tell if somebody's not aware or somebody just said it out of nothing, or like because they think it would disrespect you if you were called ma'am or her or she. And I believe I can sense someone if they are definitely doing it on purpose.
Okay, Gie,
yeah.
you've heard that. I mean, nakausap din kita kanina, sabi mo, you do not agree that trans women should be addressed as her or she or they if they want to. What's the main reason? Is it the same that you don't think they're women so they're not entitled to that sa ganung pagtawag?
Basically, ano kasi ako dyan, sir, medyo may paggalang ako sa part na yan. If they feel like they want to, yes. For me, it's a yes. But still, if a child will listen to that, situation na naririnig niya, sir, ma'am, tas nakikita niya, ay parang lalaki, quite confusing. So, nai-embed dun sa isip ng bata, ano ba talaga? Nakaka-confuse. So, yun lang naman. Kasi naging preschool teacher din po ako. So, for me, if they feel like it, then go ahead. But for me, deep inside, parang, awkward.
Oh, Jeff, may binanggit si Gie about situations like kids being confused kung sakali na, yun nga, gagamitin yung
I'm
mga
opening can of
pronouns.
worms.
So what do you think? Does it really confuse children?
In a way, yes. Kasi nga, sabi ni Emil kanina, sa school, di ba? If you talk about body parts of ng human, you talk about male and female. You don't talk about gender. Kasi nga,
Correct.
wala pang sogi sa mga preschools, di ba? So it might be it might confuse them. But then again, it could be looked at on a positive side. Kasi at least we started bringing them na, hindi pala gano'n, no? Hindi pala siya confined, no? And mas nagiging open sila, no? Na possible pala na you look like a man, somehow look like a man, but you could be called like, you could be a woman, parang gano'n. So it makes them para maging accepting, no? Kasi sabi nga kanina, it's all social construct, no? Kapag kung ano yung kinalakihan mo, 'di ba? Yun yung tatatak sa utak mo. And if kids are exposed to this, then I think it's better. Pero hindi ko rin masisi yung mga ibang parents kasi it's their belief, their religious belief that it's just a man and a woman. I mean, pertaining to sex, 'di ba? And gender are the same, parang ganon. So, in a way, medyo confusing nga siya, pero I think...
Hindi, pero Jeff, kanina, Emil was already talking about language. Yung her, him, she, he, wala naman yung counterpart sa Tagalog eh.
Correct.
Diba? Wala siyang counterpart sa Tagalog. In fact,
ang meron lang tayo, siya. Diba? Wala tayong para sa babae tsaka sa lalaki. Siya lang. Wala tayong him or her.
So we do not identify actually to. Doon lang, when we use the English language, saka lang siya nagbabago. I saw that Gie and Yan posted about yung kay Kevin Balot in her Facebook. And she got into trouble with the trans community because sinabi niya na trans women are actually asking for more rights when they ask to join exclusively women's pageant like Miss Universe. Of course, meron na, hindi ba? Nauna sa Miss Canada, and then Angela Ponce got into Miss Universe. Yan. Bakit mali si Kevin Balot?
I think I'm totally opposed to that opinion kasi if you say that transgender women are asking for too much equality, how do you measure equality? What is your metric of measurement when it comes to equality? And there's another question. May equality na ba talaga?
So what are you saying? Are you saying this is discriminatory when trans women are not allowed to join Miss Universe? Is that what you're saying, Yan?
Yes, because Miss Universe organization, I have researched about it, and with their qualification, it doesn't say there that you have to be naturally born women.
Okay.
Sinabi. Go ahead.
So, kung walang qualification, pero yun yung for more than 70, ilang taon na ba? 50 years na ba ang Miss Universe? I don't know. So, hindi sinasabi. Anyway, pinayagan na nga naman. Di ba? Wala na tayong pagtatalo doon. Ang tanong ko sa iyo, Yan, of course, you cannot speak for the trans community. But, halimbawa, meron kayong sariling pageant, di ba? Ito yung sinasabi ni Kevin. Meron kayong Miss International Queen. So, if we're talking about equality now, is it okay for a woman to actually join natural-born woman or biologically born woman to join Miss International Queen? Kung halimbawa, yun nga, you have your own pageant, Miss International Queen. These are exclusively for trans women. So, so since we're talking about equality, is it okay for biologically born women to now join Miss International Queen?
Definitely not.
But okay, why?
If you're going to if I'm going to throw the question back to you, bakit ba may exclusive transgender beauty pageant? It is because we're not allowed to join biological women beauty pageant way back. The organization of Miss or there are transgender organization that put up this type of exclusive pageants for transgender women. It is because we're not given opportunities way back para mag-join sa exclusive women or biological women beauty pageant like Miss Universe. So, but now since transgender women are getting more visible and we are at least achieving visibility nowadays, so that's why we are being supported na. We have a stronger support system for us to be able to express ourselves, to join this beauty pageant like Miss Universe.
Pero yan, ang sabi mo, you had Miss International Queen exclusively for trans women because you are not allowed to join international competition. But yun nga, pinapayagan na sa Miss Universe ngayon eh. So bakit hindi pa rin pwedeng pasukan ng biological women yung competition nyo? So, going through the logic nung sagot mo ha?
Do biological women experience?
Ito pa isa yan. Before you answer that, para lang isang tanungan na lang. there are also concerns that trans women who join sports, halimbawa weightlifting, tapos sasali sa kategory ng babae. Ang sinasabi nila, although pagpalagay na natin, she's thinking like a woman, but her physiology is still a man. So kung halimbawa daw na sumali, halimbawa ang isang trans woman sa isang competition like weightlifting, definitely he would have an advantage over a biological woman. What do you say about that?
Okay, a lot of people are only focused on the assigned birth a transgender woman was born in. I think doon tayo masyado nagpo-focus eh. Doon nagpo-focus tayo, ay, pinanganak yung may penis, ay, pinanganak yung may vagina. But then when you undergo hormone replacement therapy, like for transgender women, you change your physicalities. Nagbabago siya. And when you get your test, like your estrogen levels, your testosterone levels, it is equal to biological women. So, I would be very honest, based on my experience, talagang when you are on hormones and your estrogen level is same as like women, wala yung lakas mo eh. Mawawala yung lakas mo magbuhat ng kung ano-ano. And it
so
affects
the physique will also change. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. Okay, Emil, Jeff, would you like to comment on that? Yung sa concern about they have a natural advantage if they join sports and if they join a woman's pageant. I mean, Miss Universe is it's a very discriminatory contest. Hindi naman kahit sinong babae pwede sumali dyan. May height requirement, hindi naman lahat ganun ng physicality, yung ganda, hindi ba? So what do you think? Comments?
For me, lalo na sa sports, may mga qualifying rounds din, di ba? No? And sports has this, meron ding requirements. As long as na pasa ni transgender woman yung lahat ng requirements na yon, I don't think they should be not allowed to join it. Di ba? So, kasi in the first place, umabot sila sa point na yun kasi they must have passed those qualifications, those criterias set by that particular sports. Diba? And that involves...
But do you believe there's an advantage for trans women? Pero pinaliwanag na ni Adrian. I just wanted to get your input.
Well, medyo na-enlightened ako doon. Kanina medyo kasi nga biologically, mas malakas ang lalaki kaysa sa babae, 'di ba? Actually, there are cases sa sports na dinidispute yung mga babae na lalaki daw talaga sila because of how they look and their strength eh. Actually, may mga cases, I think sa
Nancy Nabalta.
Mga gano'n, no? Mga runners, mga hindi yan totoong babae kasi sobrang lakas niya. And if you look at them, like, they look like a man, I mean physically, but they said, but they are women.
I disagree with that. I don't think a man has a certain look or a woman has a certain look.
Maybe social construct din, no? Kasi you are used to, you are used to looking at people na ganito yung itsura niya, di ba? So, yun, medyo sa akin yun, but it could be a social and, a societal thing. On how they look.
Emil?
Alright, sir. Balikan ko lang yung sinabi ni Miss Yan Yan about dun sa beauty pageants, diba? Sa Miss Universe. And gusto ko lang paliwanag siya at least from my perspective. I think ang sinasabi dito ni Yan Yan is the goal is not to create a beauty pageant for transgender. The goal is to assimilate them. Ang sinasabi dito ni Yan Yan is that since available na, since pwede na sila pumasok sa Miss Universe, therefore there's no more impetus to create an exclusive pageant para sa mga transgender. So the goal really is to stop stop that exclusive pageant for transgender and just to assimilate dun sa Miss Universe, di ba? I think ayun yung pinaka-goal nung movement, di ba? Then secondly, yung sa sport naman, again, it's also far-fetched to say na magkaroon na lang ng another category for transgender because that will just further alienate, di ba? Ang goal nga is not to create another category that can alienate or otherize other people, di ba? So, ang point dito is that yung mga kailangan i-assimilate yung mga transgenders, transsexuals doon sa mismong mainstream, di ba? And kapag nangyari yon, doon masasabi na na-reach na nila yung pinaka-goal ng movement, di ba? And
okay,
lastly,
okay, go ahead.
On the statement of Kevin Balot, ang sinasabi dito is that mali kagad kasi yung pinaghuhugutan ni Kevin Balot nung sinabi niya that there is too much equality because in the first place wala namang equality. So doon pa lang sa statement niya, mali na yung foundation niya, 'di ba? So kung mali na yung pinaka-foundation mo kung paano mo tinitingnan yung lens yung ginagamit mo para tignan yung issue, therefore yung opinion niya about dun sa Miss Universe and sa sa beauty pageants ng mga transsexual ay logically mali na rin dapat, 'di ba?
I'll go to Jeff kasi kagaya ko, he's for free speech eh. It's not only Kevin Balot who got into trouble, it's also Don Chang. Kasi she somehow supported the position of Kevin Balot, not necessarily saying that Kevin Balot was right, but Kevin Balot has the right to say it. Kahit mali siya, di ba? Kahit mali siya, she has the right to say it. Well, ang sinasabi nila, binawi na nga ni Kevin Balot eh, bakit pa natin inungkat o ganyan. Pero sinasabi ni Don Chang, karapatan niya yan. And if we shut her up, then we're not actually doing everybody a favor. What do you think about that, Jeffy? I don't know kung nasundan mo yung Twitter thread ni Kevin and then ni Don Chang. Okay, go ahead.
So
Your thoughts.
ang tingin ko naman dito kay Kevin Balot, no? Yung opinion niya is based on ignorance, no? And the risks of privilege. No, kasi maganda siya eh. Hindi siya nakaka-experience ng discrimination basta-basta. She looks
Hindi natin alam yun. Well, Jeff,
maybe.
We don't know that. Hindi natin alam pinagdaanan ni Kevin. Nakita natin siya ngayon. Nakita natin beauty queen siya.
No, I'm talking about
the present. But you
the
make this
present.
judgment too na that is also ignorant.
No. I'm talking about the present, no? Kasi meron ding social imbalance, no, sa loob ng LGBT movement. Meron tinatawag na inside discrimination, 'di ba? Kaya yung mga bakla kinakategorize din, may baklang kanal, may baklang social, may baklang high-end. And Kevin Balot with her physical appearance falls on that category na sinatawag nilang high-end. Because she looks like a woman, di ba? Hindi mo nga maahalata na bakla siya eh. So, because of her position, na nandun siya sa level na yon, na may elitism din eh, no, meron siyang sense ng privilege na tinatawag. Kasi hindi siya tatawaging kuya for sure, di ba? Pag naglalakad siya, pumunta siya sa Starbucks, hindi siya tatawaging kuya, di ba? Hindi siya babastusin, di ba? Malamang pa siyang sipulan pero hindi niya matatanggap yung same degree of discrimination na natatanggap ng mga hindi pa nakakapag-transition. Yung mga taong may socio-economic din, di ba? Part siya kasi yung mga transgender na nakapag-transition, they can buy pills. They can go to beauty salons. They can inject themselves with glutathione. How much? Pero yung mga nasa lower level ng socio-economic class na hindi kayang gawin yon, all they can do is to have a longer hair. Sila yung walang sense ng privilege, di ba? So medyo off doon si Kevin Balot kasi hindi niya tinignan yung buo, di ba? She only speaks for herself na may equality daw because maybe that's what she feels now kasi tanggap siya kasi she looks more like a woman. How about the other people na hindi niya katulad? Diba? How
Okay.
about nilabel na baklang ka na, diba? Yun, that's my point.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. G, so let's go to the next question. So, public bathrooms or public restrooms. I asked you earlier, bago tayo nag-podcast, sabi mo, you're not comfortable with trans women go using the same bathroom. Why? Or
Kanina
restroom?
kaintindi ko yung hindi pa trans. Sorry, kasi I had this experience before na kasabay ko, tas medyo may tulo dun sa brim ng So medyo talaga siya, unhygienic.
Ang sagot mo ay unhygienic actually sa akin kanina.
Unhygienic talaga siya.
But that's a person-to-person basis. But in general, would you allow a trans woman to share a public restroom with you?
For me, hindi siya issue sa akin. Hindi siya issue. Hindi siya issue sa akin, ha? Hindi siya issue. So long na yung ari niya ay hindi na nakalawit at kaya niya nang umupo kasi 'di ba, medyo unhygienic talaga pag medyo
nagkalas. But not all trans women would have surgery.
So yeah, yon number one reason why it's unhygienic. Because of my experience.
Okay. So that's really personal. Okay.
Yes.
Yan. Alam natin, a few months back, di ba, nagkaroon ng problema, saan ba tong mall na to sa Cubao? Somewhere in Cubao? Na gumamit ang isang trans woman sa farmers. Okay. So, did you also experience that? I mean, not necessarily yung hilahin at ikulong and all of that, but what kind of experience you have when you use public restroom?
I had an experience with my previous company where I worked for. When I used the female bathroom, they approached me naman properly and they told me to not use the female bathroom, female restroom. Ang ginawa nila, binigyan nila ako ng key to an executive restroom so that I can be separated to female, to women basically. And that for me is I would say it's a privilege, but then it's also a discrimination too. Because I don't have the freedom to use the bathroom I prefer with how I identify myself, which makes me feel like, why should I be set aside? Why should I be set aside kung ang gagawin ko lang naman, iihi lang naman ako, tatain lang naman ako. Why should I be set aside? I don't have any bad intention, but just to serve the call of nature, basically. So, go ahead.
Oh, yan. Sinabi mo you don't have a bad intention. Si G, wala siyang problema pag gumamit ka. But there are some women that they feel that the reason kung bakit they struggle din nila yan yung separation ng public restroom They struggled so that they will have their own space because when it wasn't separated before, they were assaulted, they were victims of violence, and they fear, and I'm not saying this is a valid fear, Ang sinasabi ko lang, ito yung argumento nila. At hindi ko alam kung nangyayari ba talaga to sa loob ng mga restroom kasi hindi man ako nakapasok pa sa restroom ng babae. Pero they fear that they may be assaulted. Well, how do you allay that fear, Yan?
I don't think there's something to be afraid of. Dahil as you women, like, you go to parlors, you go to beauty parlors or whatever, that you have your hair, your makeup done by transgender women or by gay people, then that you tend to trust them, do whatever they want to do with you. For example, fashion designers. There are transgender fashion designers. There are effeminated gay men who are fashion designers that you allow to see your naked body for you to get measurements or whatnot. Then why would you not trust these people to use the same bathroom with you if you can trust them to see your own body but not being assaulted by them at all? So there's a disconnect there. I don't know if it's just a trend, but then I never heard any report in the Philippines women being assaulted by transgender women, or let's say nagpapanggap na mga babae. So wala tayong statistics dyan. So we cannot prove anything that they're being assaulted by transgender women. So
Okay, Jeff. We talked about this last night. We had a podcast about rape, diba? And of course, rape doesn't just happen in yung mga alley and enclosed spaces. In fact, could you share us, Jeff, what you think about that answer by Yan?
Well, tama si Yan doon. Walang clear na data that will support na transgender women are assaulting women in a bathroom or a toilet, no? And though merong mga anecdotal things na merong mga nagpanggap na transgender sila, na nag-makeup sila, that assaulted, pero that's anecdotal eh. Hindi siya widespread, hindi siya and instead of punishing the transgender woman for that, dapat huliin nila yung mga lalaking pervert na yon, di ba?
Exactly.
Bakit mapaparusahan?
Hindi naman kasalanan ng transgender.
Correct. Ang may problema doon, hindi transgender woman, mga straight men na nagpapanggap ng transgender woman, di ba? Ba't posisihin si transgender woman, di ba?
Okay, so Emil, let's talk about transphobia. Di ba? May mga shows or talk shows that trans woman wouldn't go kung halimbawa may mga strong advocate against transgender rights. Kasi ang sinasabi nila, there's no sense of debating with these people. They're just hurting the community and their ideas are spreading transphobia. Tama ba yon? Is that the right attitude? Or ito yon, we confront whatever issues at hand kung whether you are for or against a particular topic, and then expound what transphobia is and how it harms the trans community.
Okay. So, ang answer to dyan, sir, is that we should not lose hope, or we should not stop at creating spaces for dialogue, di ba? Transphobia, or the fact that you are talking with a fundamentalist, should not stop you to reach out to strike a dialogue with that person, because through dialogue, it is only through dialogue that we can have mutual understanding, diba? It is only through dialogue that we can fix our differences. So it might be an ideal. I am maybe an idealist here, but I still believe that if you are a liberal, diba? If you really love freedom, if you are a liberal, freedom-loving person, the fact that you are talking with an extremist should not stop you to further talk with that person, to further understand that person. Actually, this is also the same with Christians, diba? The fact that you are talking with for instance, with an evil person, it should not stop you at talking with that person and probably try to disciple that person. You should not stop that. So that is my first answer. Now let's go back to the question of transphobia. It's very rooted, at least in the context of the Philippines. There is really an internalized transphobia. At least personally speaking, feeling ko nakikita ko siya sa experience sa childhood. Kasi for instance, personally ako, I experienced being catcalled, di ba? By transgender, di ba? We are being catcalled, tapos may mga transgenders who have this audacity to go to you or to touch you, di ba? May mga ganun eh. Although we advocate the rights of the transgender, but let's be honest on that, di ba? Hindi naman natin na sila nilalahat, pero some people...
Emil, let me pause you in that. Para lang malinaw. So it's transphobia because they are trans. Pero paano if it's a beautiful girl catcalling you? Would you have the same feeling?
It's the same, basically.
Oh.
It's basically because a catcall is it came out of nowhere. Parang it is an affront to you, 'di ba?
Palag ka ba? Pagka lumingon ka at nakita mo magandang babae yon, it's not an approval of your manliness or good looks?
Yes, because I think at least 'di ba there's a law in catcalling, 'di ba? I think doon sa law sa catcalling na yun, the fact that you are a beautiful person, if you are guwapo, should not excuse you to the application of that law or to the of that ordinance in catcalling. So I guess that argument is wrong, di ba? Kahit guwapo ka, kahit maganda ka, once you catcall, the ordinance at least in the QC should penalize you for that. Pero I would like to zero into the transphobia, di ba? Perhaps kasi yung mga bata, since bata sila, nakaranas sila ng catcalling, perhaps na-harass sila ng mga transgender, transsexuals, or perhaps transsexual sila internally, or bakla pala sila, hindi lang nila matanggap yung sarili nila. That's why yung hate nila sa sarili nila, ini-inflict nila doon sa ibang tao, doon sa mismong bakla or sa mismong transsexual, just to hide the fact that perhaps they are gay or transsexuals too. So these are the dimensions of transphobia.
Okay. Mamaya i-expound ni Yan when I ask her our last question. Last question for G. G, I'm not sure if you like to have children. Pero kung sakali na gusto mo magkaroon ng anak, and then you have a boy, and then lumalaki siya, sinasabi niya, Mom, I'm a girl. Anong sasabihin mo sa kanya?
Thank you for that lovely question. Well, honestly, yan din yung tanong ko sa sarili ko. Paano kung maging bakla? Kasi my best friend is gay. Paano kung maging tomboy? Medyo may lahi din kami. Ganon. So, for me, my role is to educate my child. Hanggang dun lang. Influence whatever I can. Sabihin ko sa kanya na ganito. But I'm not going to punish my child for feeling that way. But still, as much as I can.
Are you gonna support her?
I'll make him or her realize. Siguro with the help of...
Realize what?
Na
hindi siya
we
babae.
are not actually... I'm sorry.
Pwede siyang bakla pero hindi siya babae.
I'm going to make that child realize kung ano talaga yung kanyang original na design.
Okay.
But if it comes out that my child will still go through the opposite of yun yung paniniwala ko, then I will just implore my child na God is a God of pinapayagan niya lahat. Sige. Everything is permissive, but not everything is beneficial.
Yeah, I totally respect that answer, G,
yes.
Pero isipin mo to, and I'd like you to look at some literature. Yun nga, yung binabanggit natin kanina. Some children have gender dysphoria. And lahat naman siguro ng magulang don't want their child to have a sad childhood, di ba? And yung sadness na yun, kung malakas yung bata, he would grow up to be a strong person. Pero some kids actually commit suicide. And no parents should bury a child. So, yun lang siguro yung last reminder ko doon. Anyway, Yan. Emil talk about transphobia and then sinasabi niya yung some of the causes here. It's actually two-way, di ba? May harm sa iba, but there's also harm towards the trans community. How does transphobia, for example, kagaya nga tanong ko kay Emil, may mga iba na sa trans community, ayaw ng gantong discussion kasi sinasabi na binibigyan nyo lang ng idea yung iba na to discriminate. Nag-argue kayo for their case. So that's actually validating transphobia. I don't know if you agree with that, but I'd like to hear your answer, and then how does it hurt the trans community? And then maybe on the last side, what do you think is needed to be done so that mas magkaintindihan tayong lahat sa issue ng transgender rights?
I think transphobia it comes from ignorance. People hate what they don't understand. And it's just related to, for example, being Black. I'm sorry, this is a different context, but I can relate to that so for being Black. And people believe that being Black is like slaves and all that. That applies to transgender people. That people have this mentality that we have mental disorders, that this is a disorder, that this is a disease na nakakahawa and all that. Well, then it's not. And basically, it from generation to generation, it has been passed on. Because what we have to do in connecting to how we combat it is to keep on educating people. Is to at least use your voice to educate people that that transgender people are just normal people who want to just be who they want and live their lives normally. And we were just born different, and we did not choose to be transgender. We did not choose, transgender people did not choose to be transgender. Dysphoria is something that is naturally being felt by a transgender person. But transgender person has the choice to transition medically. So that's when you combat dysphoria, and yeah, I think that's how we can combat transphobia as well, by educating people and be visible to people and proving them that we can help the society. We have important roles in the society as well. So that's it.
Okay, thank you, Yan Yan. Thank you, Gie. Salamat sa inyong dalawa for joining us tonight. It was a wonderful discussion. We're ending tonight with some words from the last few words from Emil.
Okay. Thank you for our guest. We are doing this as part of our contribution to the celebration of the Pride. As a closing, I just want to reiterate what I said a while ago, diba, about dialogues, because we understand that the issue of gender, sexuality are very thorny issues, diba? There are deadlocks, especially when we include our beliefs, our religious beliefs, on understanding this issue. But when we are faced with this kind of thorny issue, the only solution for this is that we should persist at dialogue, diba? And what is dialogue? And dialogue, according to philosopher Levinas and Martin Buber, dialogue is our attempt to understand another person, not really by arguing, not just by arguing, but by looking at that particular person face to face, diba? Because when we look at a particular person, for instance, at a transgender, at a transsexual, when we look at them face to face, we are forced to recognize their humanity. We recognize that they are human too, that perhaps they have the right to self-actualization, diba? But the beauty of dialogue is that it allows us to connect with them, to empathize with them, and to share our own humanity with them, diba? Because we have to understand that at the end of the day, the transsexuals, the transgenders, they are the most discriminated people, especially if you are a Black transsexual woman, diba? And that is actually the issue of intersectionality, and I think that is my last point, diba? When we talk about the issue of gender, sexuality, we cannot divorce it from the issue of class and race, because these issues are all interconnected. There is intersectionality on this issue. That's why this simple podcast that we have perhaps is just the beginning of a more of a deeper discussion on the questions of gender, class, discrimination, and what have you, diba? So ayun. Thank you, Gie, and thank you, Yan. Happy Pride sa inyo. And that's it, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Until the next episode of the Naked PolitiXXX Podcast, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and IG account. Look for the Naked PolitiXXX Podcast. Good night, everyone.